We want to communicate about the speed of solutions in our world and the dynamics of solution generation in our world. In our world, when we're motivated to get something done, to actually achieve it, it does tend to be achieved. It does tend to get done because we put the time, the energy, the technology, the motivation, the will, the courage, and the recognized necessity of bringing it into existence and manifest reality. We get it, we do it, we fulfill on it, and it's there. Now, the challenge, of course, is that which we have tended to manifest or create in the world in the past has generated climate change and is generating pollution and is generating genetically modified crops and pouring all kinds of pesticides on the ground and killing the soil so that it's not generating healthy food. So certainly our solutions that we've arrived at in the past were arrived at quickly. That said, they were not necessarily arrived at wisely or with enough understanding. So that said, we now have 7 years to effect a solution to all of the issues or many of the issues that we've generated for us, for ourselves, and for future generations of the planet. And the methods that we used to create climate change, which were very fast, were also they also occurred at an often very micro scale, or they took a long time to build up. So if we've had plastic bottles for give or take 50 years, and we're accelerating in our usage of them, of course, it's taken that amount of time, which is for most people, much of their lives, 50 years of living, for the effects of plastic bottles to be fully realized. It's to be seen as littering beaches or killing animals in the sea or being burned and creating toxins in the air or being particulate plastic that's spread throughout the ocean. And we eat particulate plastic in fish, and then it ends up in our bloodstream and floating around and being breathed in the air. So the learning curve of 50 years is too slow. So our learning curve is too slow. And now, because of the massive impact, meaning there being perhaps trillions of plastic bottles around the world that have been thrown out into the environment, our solutions that we're applying are being arrived at too slowly. So we had a wonderful gentleman we spoke with a short while back that said, if you're going to do an agroecology project in the world, the way to do it is just in one place, prove it works there, document it completely, take a few years to make sure it's just exactly right, and then replicate it around the world somewhere or anywhere that it can be replicated. And that's the way science has been done in regard to agroecology for the time that agroecology has existed as a science. And we would suggest we don't have enough time to do a test process and an implementation and a verification of all of the different possibilities and make sure that it costs the least it possibly can cost and that it's going to have an absolutely guaranteed result so that investors will want to put money into it so they can make a lot of profit on the apocalypse. So we would suggest that our solutions processes are not designed to fit this 7-year launch window we have for developing solutions and applying them to the world. So we would suggest that the very basic premise of what a solution is, how it's arrived at, whether it has an adequate goodness of fit in any way in regard to climate change, and whether it's worthwhile implementing it just as fast as possible, that it's really going to help everybody if we change our ways of making those decisions. If we arrive at a faster way to generate more solutions, not make sure it makes a lot of profit first, not make sure it gives us a market share, not make sure first that it makes our investors happy, that whatever is going to potentially, truly, likely help, get it out there now as fast as possible. So these current solutions generation methodologies simply don't map to our current global crisis. If a building was burning down, do you want the fire truck to get there immediately? Are you going to say, well, we don't want to send the fire truck until we have a consensus on the color of the fire truck being the proper color of a fire truck? We don't want to send the fire truck until we've asked everyone in the neighborhood, are they going to be bothered by the siren? We don't want to send the fire truck unless or until we can absolutely make sure there's no possibility that anybody's going to get hurt putting out the fire. Or we're being facetious in this. That said, does it make sense that we're getting in our own way as a species and we're not taking enough global scale requisite action in a well-organized, effective, efficient enough way, and we're putting a whole bunch of metrics on it that are holding us back? So it's like dragging an anchor behind a sailboat. It doesn't go fast. It's a constant slowing of the process, and we can choose to move faster. We can move today. We can take action today. We can take effective global solutions action in this very moment and have global effect. It's simply a choice to do so.